Hey there, lads and lasses. This here, of course, is Thunderhand64 coming at you live from the west coast of the United States. Here on a Wednesday, it is a little bit past noontime, and that can only mean that it is time for some Generations Minecraft server. Today, we're going to be doing some Baby Zombie Rush. My God. If it isn't the man himself. Toes for life. Toes! It's been forever. How you been? I'd also like to welcome in fellow buffoon, a real foolish sage. You can see the auto shout out up there for him. Sage, welcome on in, and of course, the mighty, the one and only Lone Star. But wow, good. How have you been? I have been excellent. And I hope you've been the same. One of the OG viewer community, by the way, from back in the day. Toes for life. Today's going to be a pretty tough stream. That being said. So, Baby Zombie Rush. Yeah, let's just jump in and assess the situation, shall we? Let's just do that. Let me pull this up. Let's get over to here. Let's do this. And there we be. Isn't that like the 1930s for you, Thunder? 40s, maybe? I remember seeing your stream for the first time. I remember being like, dang, this guy don't got no viewers. That's crazy. I was like 15 at the time. Now I'm 18. I got my years mixed up. I don't know. Toes, I remember. Yeah, we were, that was like at the, I would say maybe 1 year into the Generations stream. The generations being Generation 5 when we first started that world. I remember building the hotel and we were working on the glass doors, and you suggested putting the glass panes at the 90 degrees to make it look like glass doors that were open and stuff. I remember that, dude. I remember. That's back before I went into retirement. That's before my retirement, yeah. I remember you making the mountains flat. I swear I remember you making that world. Yeah. Yep. Those VODs are still all up there. You know, they're all archived on our YouTube channel. Let me see if I can do this. I forgot my own YouTube command. Anyways, is it YouTube 2, I think? I'll figure it out. Anyways, Thunderhand 64 underscore gaming 2 on YouTube. That's where we archive all of our streams. And we've been doing that since 2020, I believe. My younger son Kachi was a wee lad back then. I'm about to check it out and go back to to those streams. It will be funny to looking at it. Yeah. Kachi is a young man now. His voice is about an octave lower than mine. You go back to those videos and he's like 8 years old, 9 years old, and he's got this super high-pitched voice. Funny. Okay. I usually start the Baby Zombie Rush stream off with a little recap on where we're at. So we've developed our entrance area to the Baby Zombie Rush maze, the game, right? Secret door. So we've made one secret door in the maze, somewhere in the maze. So one of the dead ends, you press a rather innocuous looking button. Innocuous, am I using that right? And it opens up a secret passage, lets you into a different part of the maze. The passage remains open long enough for the baby zombies to follow you through, though. So beneficial, detrimental, kind of benign, I'm thinking. And yeah, so that was feature 2. That's been completed. Arrow dispensing, detrimental. So again, you reach another dead end. Hit the button and take your chances. Hit the button. This time it opens up a panel, and arrows are fired out at you, and they are arrows of harm. So not only do they, but they're kind of weak. They could kill you, but they might just wound you and bring your health down. But they also replenish the baby zombies. Yeah, detrimental, I would say. Then feature 3 is arrow dispensing. Feature 4, arrow dispensing, beneficial. Same kind of feature. Reach the dead end, hit the button, panels open up. Arrows fire out, but they're arrows of healing, so they help you and they harm the baby zombies, right? 5, baby zombie spawner at the entrance. I did remember that, yeah, when the game starts, we need some baby zombies with which to pursue the player into the maze. And so we set up a command block and it spawns the baby zombies. Player goes through, they're released into the maze after. So that's all set. Dead end baby zombie spawner. So again, player reaches a dead end, hits the button, panel opens up, and out pours bloodthirsty baby zombies. TNT drop trap. This one went fairly quickly. It was pretty easy to do. Player reaches the dead end, hits the button, floor panels open up, player falls through into a chamber. TNT is dispensed, and yeah, I think you understand what happens from there. And similarly, the lava drop trap works in the same way. Player reaches the dead end, hits the button, floor opens up, they fall in and into a pit of lava. Right? So there we go. The feature we are working on now is another drop feature. And this one has been pretty challenging. This one was much harder than I thought it would be. Right here. The entrance to this drop, I think, is over here somewhere. Yeah, I think it's right here. Okay. Yes. Player falls into a tunnel. Yeah, okay. It's going to be difficult to do. Proceeds down below. Remember, baby zombies are pursuing you at this point. If you're the contestant, I did place some other colored blocks onto the floor. And there may be some features down here. There may be some food dispensed. There may be some murals on the walls. Maybe some armor stand figures. Right, maybe along some of these sections. Okay, and here's on what we are working. Player will then cross some. Let's do this. Some pressure plates into here. Wind charges will launch the player up into the sky. They may hit this little portion right here and then bounce back down and then proceed out into the maze. Some baby zombies might make it out into the maze. Maybe not. Player will proceed this way, and then maybe some baby zombies will spawn. Maybe not. I'm not entirely certain. The passageways on the floor will then close up, and these will retract into the walls, and there will be no indication whatsoever that any of this occurred. That's the idea. That's on what we are working now. And it's turned out to be pretty difficult. But we'll do it. We'll get there. So, also, I would like to welcome in Son of Thunderhand. Biggity cheese, Biggie. Going to head to class. Got my midterm. Good luck, son. Do well. Do well. Have a great stream. Always good to see you. That's my son right there. Up at his university, pursuing his electrical engineering degree. But yeah, that's on what we are working now. So I thought that this would be rather quick to do because it operates in the same kind of way the other two drop traps operate. It's the same kind of redstone. It should work the same, but it's not working the same. I'm thinking the timing differences might be because of pressure plate activation instead of a button. So we're activating this with a pressure plate. It's powering the block through an observer coming through. And I think now I've got a T flip-flop below here. And what I want is a pressure plate usually has a double activation. Let's just do this. Off to the side here, something like this. Just click this like this. Maybe we'll put the pressure plate there. And let's do this. Let's head out to a repeater like this. And you guys should be able to see with the repeater. On and off. If we do this and we have an observer observing that, the observer will see two block states. Right? And so that's part of the problem with a pressure plate. Wow, there's a lot of alliteration there. And so one of the ways we get around that is to do how do I want to do this? Yeah, something like that. Basically what we did over there, but we'll make a simpler model of it here. We make a T flip-flop with a copper bulb. That's where this is going if you hadn't guessed. And actually, we need a comparator output like that. Right, reading that, outputting there. Push all plate. Right? And so we get this kind of action here. Then we'll have to come down here and reset. All right. And the way we want this to work is we want to actually have another observer there. We could have that kind of a thing. So we get a single pulse through. And I think I understand what's going on. Yeah, okay, I'm getting it now. I don't want the single pulse yet. And so what we want to have happen is we want to have the player run across the pressure plates. That will open up the ceiling, which is, of course, the floor of the maze above. And then when the player stumbles down into here, they hit this, the wind charges launch them up through. This stuff gets pulled out of the way. I think I see what's going on. I think I see what's going on. I'm thinking I don't want a double pulse here. Let's watch the action first. Yeah, okay, so timings are a little bit off. So this is going to be one of those things. See, these need to retract afterwards to be in that block state again, so it'll reset for the closing pulse. All right, and one of the things I had going here was I just used in the other system, I just used a row of repeaters down there as a clock, as a delay to keep the doors open long enough for the player to be shot up and out. And then the return circuit will close it afterwards. This is, you know, that's a 6 or is it 8? 8, 2 rows of 4, right? This is only half of that length, so we only have half of the clock time delay on it. And so we can expand this, we can extend it, we can go vertically with it if we need to. We can just bring this out further out to here and bring it around to make it last longer. But I don't know why this is twisting my brain. It should be just a repetition of what we did over there. But I've not got my timings exactly right. So I'm going to break. I shouldn't have broken that there. I should, well, it's going to read there as well. Yeah, I guess. All right, whatever. I'm going to break them there because I want to get this system working first. The first circuit, and then I'll get the return circuit. So its default state should be something like this. Those are in the middle, observers are off to the side. right? So these need to be reinstalled right here to be reset. Like that. We need those removed like this. This will be closed. All right. So we have to have this kind of system. Also, this needs to be reset. Those need to be retracted afterwards. And I don't know why these are not retracting. But let me see if I can get this to work now. If I do not activate the plates and just use a button right there. Okay, we can see that the timing's a little bit off, right? Let's see what's happening first. One more time. Okay, we're having the top piston not retract the blocks over and fire fast enough. I think these are activating too quickly. So this happens first, that happens second. So the observer will move into place. That will cause a redstone pulse, which makes this reach up, grab down the slab. And then after that happens, these should move over and grab the slab and the piston and pull them aside. So it's like there's not enough delay here. Now there is enough delay over here, and this one works as it's supposed to. I think that's because of this setting right here. So I need 4 ticks for each one of these, which is 8 ticks total. So let's try it out. I think that should do it. I think that's what I did before. Okay, that's pretty good, except we have this kind of nonsense going on. All right, so let's see what's happening. All right, so this, when it finishes its cycle, this should be parked over to here with the slabs. So the 2 pistons with the 2 slabs should be parked over here when it's done. All right, let me take a look. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of flying back and forth in this stream. Okay, that's set for 3 ticks. So you can see where instead of having the activation come down from the button above like this, ours will come from the, over here, ours. They're both ours. That one from over there will come from the pressure plates here and be divided into 2 signals, which will come up and activate right here and right here. And they should activate symmetrically if we do our job right. This is no place for nonsense. But that's the whole theme of the stream. So the activation pulse will now come right into this target block instead of coming down from here and be distributed by the rail. There'll be a rail that will come up here and simultaneously to that one over there, and then it will come out this way. It will activate this, which will activate that. So this part of it should be the same. So I should be breaking the return loop by taking that out. So what should happen is this should hit this first, activate that, which activates this and pulls down the slabs. That's what needs to happen first. And then the pulse should reach over to here. This should see that and then activate this, which should pull the slab over and the one below it and pull the piston over. Again, we can't use a redstone block here because it will soft power the other pistons near it and around it, and it will mess everything up. So that's why we have to use observers. So sometimes the action is so quick, though, it's difficult to, at least it is for me. Dawn census for the Buffooncraft server. Here we do serious redstone science. We do the most ridiculous redstone science ever. There's nothing serious about it at all. But we do get some seriously cool results. All right, so what's giving it that extra pulse at the end? There's an extra action at the end that we do not need. I'll allow it. Okay, Sage. All right, buddy. So help me observe what's going on here, because for some reason I can't see it. Let's look at the primary action first. I'm only activating one side. I really don't need to do anything over there yet. Okay. All right, so we're getting a double action there that we don't need. All right, now why is that? That's what's screwing us up. So we should get this. It should reach up and pull that down, but we're getting a double action there. It could be because of this. But I don't think so. Oh, that's precisely what it is. Okay, but if we do that, though, now there's a timing issue here. But maybe not. Maybe not. See, we have the delay there. Now, I can set a delay here. Through these. But see, that's what's supposed to happen. Now, if this grabs it and brings this down, now these two can grab it and pull it over. So let's restore our repeater. And let me see. It's pointing in the right direction. Shut Mountain if you're lurking right now. Your repeater's backwards. So if I do this now. Okay, I'm getting all kinds of crazy extra action there. Let me see. This turns on and off when that flashes, right? All right, so when this goes to here and this redstone lights up, this will read it once. As it changing from off to on, and then it will read it again as it changing from on to off. So we're getting a double pulse here. I don't know why it works there, but it doesn't work here. That's a bit curious. But what we could do we could try something like this. And again, I don't know why we have to do this. I'm thinking we shouldn't have to. Because we're essentially doing what we did over there. But for some reason, it doesn't want to work in the same kind of way. And there's some small detail that I'm missing. So I'm thinking when this pulse goes through here, this will only see it once. We'll only get one flash through here. Well, let's try it. No, it doesn't make a difference. What am I doing wrong? So I did come on here about an hour before the stream to mess around with this a little bit. What am I doing here? Got the bottom part to activate. But I'm getting too much activation here happening at the top. This hits this. It should... Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Let me see. If this is a single pulse going into this, it should just bring that over there and stop. But why are we getting the multiple actions? There's no other redstone around. It shouldn't be activating into that. One of the other things we can do is, for testing purposes, we can do something like this and just shorten stuff, right? So we can stay here and watch. I know this will dawn on me soon. Or maybe not so soon. Maybe it's just going to be 2 hours of this. God, I hope not. I hope I can spare you. We got nothing but time. Okay, all right. If you say so, Sage. But this is where everybody scratches their head and says, you know, it should work. It should work. Let me see. Those have to be facing that way, right? These are facing down. So I'm just looking for things like observers being backwards. Just dumb stuff like that, right? See, I don't want to mess around with this because I have this working, right? So, but maybe if I just look at this for a moment. No, as far as I know, I have this set up the exact same way. You know, I do have a pulse coming into there, though. Maybe that makes a difference. Let me think about how this is going to be. It could be the way it's being activated. See, I hate taking apart something I already have working. See, if I press this button here, I get a double pulse through here because there's no T flip-flop. This will come down through here, grab this block, I get one pulse, and then place it back down. That'll give me two pulses. This will see this here. It'll have one pulse to grab this, and then one pulse to put it back. Yeah, it's like this should not work, but it does. So I think the problem I'm having is I'm getting two pulses through here instead of one. So let's just do a little experiment. Because learning redstone is observing. No pun intended while I have this thing in my hand. You gotta watch what happens, right? What is worse, this should not work but does, or this should work but doesn't? Yeah, you know, the former seems superior than the latter, but then it's like, you know, that's like the worst kind of success, right? The worst kind of success. What have I done? Okay, let me see. I'm in the set stage. But then you need to replicate it. Right, and you can't. Okay, so it's the way it's being triggered. It's being triggered with a double pulse. Okay, oh, all right, we got this. We got this now. So I need a single pulse coming into there. Oh, I hear somebody at the front door. I have to do a very, very quick be right back. But then you guys can't hear me. All right. We're back. Okay. So we had a little bit of an epiphany here. We need to send a pulse here. And I thought I had this right. I mean, this is how this is done. We need this will push this into place, and it should leave it. If it leaves it, we'll get a single pulse up through there. Oh, but you know what? It doesn't matter, because if we get a single pulse up through here, this will see the rail turn on and turn off. And so we get a double pulse through here. Yeah. So we need to activate this target block with a single pulse, which likely means another T flip-flop down here. Because even if I send a single pulse up through the rail, the observer at this point will see the rail go from off to on and then on to off, and we'll get 2 pulses through. Yeah. So that's the deal. Now I got to think about this for a moment. This could actually help us, though. It could result in less redstone. Or you know, at least make things a little more compact. I know I rely on this piston observer mechanic a lot, but I can't help it. It's good at what it does. See if the observer, it'll pull it here and bring it down, right? And so if we do something like now, we do need the target block for one reason. Some of you may be thinking I could move this all up by 1 block and turn this 90 degrees, but I need to simultaneously send a signal this way and this way, and the target block does that really well. It ain't broke, don't fix it. If it ain't broke, but in this case, it is broke, so like, do fix it. Thank you, Sage. Thank you. I couldn't agree more. All right, so I think you guys can see where this is going, right? So it'll extend this up and pull it back down, and that should give it one rapid pulse, which should go through here. Unending sagely wisdom for you. All right, I got to think about this because bat, really, please go away. When I step on a pressure plate, well, I mean, that part of that I had correctly. I don't know why I decided to break that. There we go. So this will let out from here 1 pulse. Let's break that for now. There you go. So now what I'm thinking is this has to come around and activate that. And I don't think we want observers doing that. Weird Minecraft ambient noises there. So maybe just a repeater into the side of this. Now, if I were Nova, I would make a long chain of observers right around here. That's probably what I need to do. I don't know how many observers I can gang together here to make that reach. I'm sure there's a better way of doing this. I'm going to do this in a very janky way. Surprise! Yeah. Because I want to see something here. Yeah, that didn't work right. Again, let's see what's happening. That was strange. Well, it worked that time. But this did not work properly. So maybe this is where we need the delay that we had before, because now we have a different triggering going on. That's it. That is definitely it. Okay. So we do need the single pulse coming through here now. Now, how do we get that kind of effect? there. Okay, that takes care of the lighting problem. Um, or, you know, maybe I just put a T flip-flop in front of this. Seems to work. So if I did, now we're going to get some action on this. So let's do that for right now with a reset button. Good. Okay. No, 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 no. That did not work. All right, so are we going to get a double pulse through here? That's the idea. Double pulse. The problem is, you know, my brain to eye isn't fast enough sometimes to see, like the action happens too quickly for me to observe it. Sometimes there's commands, like Redstoners will put a command in and they'll slow the game down so they can see it, see what's happening. Okay, it looks like we're getting double action out of the bottom piston. That's the bottom set of pistons here. I mean, does that look like what's happening to you? Yeah, I could see how a slow motion would help troubleshoot. Oh yeah, yeah, it's super valuable. A lot of Redstoners do that. Like this, the action's a little too quick for my brain to see it. So this should come in, that should pull it down. And then that should retract. Then this should come in, hit this, and retract. That would give this power to pull this, and this power to pull this, the slab and the piston over and park it. That's what's supposed to happen. All right, so it looks like the first part, if you focus on the first action, it looks like that's happening. Oh, it went positively mental that time. That's a good way to reset, actually. It's easier. All right, so that's our default state. Yeah, we are getting double action out of this. Which doesn't make sense. Well, it kind of does, because this is seeing this rail turn on and off. Which might be the observer being pulled back. Oh, wait. The slab piston fires again at the end, which might be the observer being pulled back. Maybe. Baby, Bubby, baby. The thing is, I'm thinking I just copy this, but make it too wide, too long instead of 4 long. And that was my first thing, because that already works. And it's like, I did that over here, and I was like, it doesn't work. So there's something about this application. Like, if I do a single pulse here, it works. So again, it's like single pulse coming into there. So if that's the case, I'm thinking I get my single pulse off of this, and I just bring it up to here. Which I could do with a rail. Right, if I'm here, but I think I'm going to need an observer here. San Si U Liu Qi Ba Ok Ba. Joe, I'm at my limit right there as far as conducting a redstone signal. But we're about halfway through the stream already and really haven't accomplished anything. So we need to take our 3-minute ad break, and then we'll be right back. Hey there, welcome back. Welcome back to the second half. All right. Let's see. We're into standing mode now. Right about there. That's good. Okay. One of the things I was thinking of is, again, messing around with the timings on that piston. Or those pistons. Right. So let's try something like this. See what we get when we do this. Yeah, it may not have made it up here. This may be too far. But that's only 8. It should be enough to make it up there. But sometimes you need a relay. It's going to change the angle a little bit, but this defeats the whole purpose, actually. Yeah, it does. That should be enough to reach up there. This should work. That's a little too far over. I mean, I could have it come into this from this side too. I could do that. For example, I could do that kind of a thing. The thing is, can I get a pulse from a rail into there? I don't think I can. I think that's what's messing me up. Yep, right there. Okay. So If I'm going to use rails, I need observers at either end, and that is our issue. That's our problem. So we're talking T flip-flops on either end, which is uncoolness in the extreme. Uncoolness in the extreme. Uncoolness in the extreme. One might even say it's totally bogus. Yes. One could say that. But this creates a whole other world of problems. Like that being on forever and not turning off. That's not supposed to do that. It's supposed to send a pulse through. I mean, it kind of does what it's supposed to do, but kind of. But I'm also thinking, let me see, can I power this? Well, no, I can't. Okay, I don't know why my brain is not redstoning. Okay, are we all primed? Yeah, okay, so far so good. I know it's like one of those things where you're stabbing all around the target. The wild stallion. Bill and Ted. Excellent. There's a lot of observers and pistons. And I know I'm doing this in a very stupid way. I'm thinking, you know, the activation of a button and a plate should be about the same. Plate activates that, sends this over to here. That's an observer right onto the piston. I'm going to get a double pulse here. This is going to see this block lift up and then back down. This should temporarily bring this up and put it back in its place. That should fire over to here and into this. We need the same input. We need to duplicate that input in the same kind of way. And that's what I'm having, my brain is not doing right now. And why? I don't know. I mean, I invented that over there. What the heck? All right, let's build it backwards. All right. Let's reproduce it from here back to the pressure plate. So I'm going to just put an observer right on that. And I'm thinking the best way to do that, to save a little room, would be to do something like that. Now this is all prepped, and this should work. And it does. Okay. Then I'm thinking, and I actually do that during streams. Those are those long, quiet parts of the stream. He hasn't spoken in 5 minutes. Yeah, I know. I'm going to give my own brain a rest for the evening. Okay. Good luck. Sage, thanks so much for dropping in. I always appreciate it. I've almost got this. I'm a few steps away from this. All right, so instead of this seeing this way, it'll be looking at something below. So it'll still be looking at the rail. So far so good. So again, if I place the powered rail and I'm thinking, because it'll change the state of the rail. So let's just get that over with right now. Right. I mean, that should work. I know I've said that a few times. We've made some jokes about it at the beginning of the stream, but um, all right, this rail is activated by an observer, which is being moved. All right, so this might make this whole thing shorter if I do all of this stuff on the back side of this. He said backside. Yeah, right. That's place. Now the idea of the redstone dust there is, so if I step on one, both things activate, right? So that's the idea there. I'm just wondering if I need like the extra T flip-flop over here. Now I'm thinking something like, my God. Besieged by solicitors. There we go. Let's do something like this. All right, so the idea is that slides into place, sends the pulse up here. Now, when that happens, oh, you know what? All right, I'm thinking ahead here a little bit. I might be getting a little ahead of myself. But I also need the return circuit to turn this thing back off afterwards. But I'm really thinking of just coming around that way with it, or maybe through this way again. We'll see. But I think I'm not activating these pressure plates correctly. So I can grab this, I can move this from both sides. If I wanted to, I could put it there, or I can have it parked here and push it in that way. Not gonna lie, I think that's the way to go with it. Because I'm thinking something like that. Look at the bat hanging from my redstone up there. There's your problem. Yeah, that works. Ah, that was a long road to get there. Now, this is a little weird. This part's going to be a little weird. I'm thinking if I have this drop the observer off, the return pulse could pull it back. Maybe. Maybe. But for the moment, no. Let's just get the first part working. Pleasant player! Woo! Pleasant, how are you doing, my friend? How are you? You should be able to see the shout out up there for co-streamer, friend of the stream, Mr. Pleasant Player himself. I have been better. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. How have you been? I'm doing well. I'm doing well, thank you. Kachi is finishing up school, so things are cool. Also, after the stream, if you want to chat a little bit, let me know. Okay? Kachi's finishing up school, and so his days are getting easier because he is a very, very, very busy young man. And so as things are finishing up for him, like his conservatory classes, after school conservatory classes have concluded. And so now his school day is a lot shorter because of that. Let me tell you, Thunder, the tragedy of this week. Okay, all right. If you want to say that on the stream, again, you know, you could always tell me afterwards too. So I'm just doing redstone here. So let's see. And these are set here. And those. We do need the other one here at 4 ticks. And let me do this. Okay, I have an observer there, right? So I can keep that in shape right there. We can do this like this. Okay, on Monday, I was at my desk doing work. I then dropped my pen. I went down to grab my pen and hit my desk. Oh, dude. Then my monitor fell and hit the corner of my desk and broke. It also got my arm pretty well, so I got this big bruise. Which sucks, but it's whatever. I just can't stream. Okay. How, if you don't mind me asking, how is the extent of your injuries preventing you from streaming? I mean, I'm a little concerned now because I'm thinking, my God, if it's bad enough where you can't stream, isn't the worst. Uh-oh. The monitor. Yeah, the monitor. Right. I'm thinking, for some reason I thought it was your school desk. You were at school and maybe you were using the school computer. No, it's your desk at home, right? Thunder. My brain is not braining today. So, as Cheska Genie would say. Yep, the worst tragedy of my life. I was literally going to stream the second I finished that packet as well. Hawk. How badly is your... How badly is your monitor damaged? Badly enough so you can't stream, but what on it is broken? Is it just like the monitor stand or something, or? But anyways, Telkachi, congrats on almost finishing school. Yeah, he's almost there, dude. I will send a picture in Discord. Oh, okay. Well, that is not cool. I think that goes without saying. I think that should do it, right? I mean, now we do have the observer, but I wanted to wait so this wouldn't change state while I was working. And then trigger the machine. I suppose this works. Again, I could just run the redstone line all the way across. I could do something like that. Send pictures. Maybe I should have just a quick peek at that. I would say the monitor is unsalvageable. Thankfully, monitors are pretty cheap nowadays, but still. Quite the nasty bruise, too, by the way. How are we doing? Are we all set up here? I think so. Okay. We've got that part now. Now, let's take a look at this. And this will come around here. It will go through here. This will read this first, close this. This second, come around here, close that. What I'm concerned with, though, is we won't get the pulse from an observer again. Let me see. I think we're all right. If anything, I'll put an observer right here. Let me take a look at what I did over here for my return circuit. But anyways, how have you been? It has felt like years since the last time I've joined. How is Biggie doing for college? You just missed Biggie, actually. Biggie lately has been jumping in the stream just to say hi, like before he goes to his university classes and stuff. So he was here at the beginning of the stream, and then he's off to lecture. Biggie is doing quite well. actually. The electrical engineering program is very, very difficult, and I could not be more proud of him for soldiering through there. Um, you know, generally his GPA is still good. From course to course, it's up and down. There's some very, very difficult courses that he has to take, and he doesn't have too much background in that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's tough, and you know, if he scores low in one course, he scores high enough in the other course to balance them out. And he's doing it. He's slugging his way through it, man. He'll finish up this quarter, and then he's home for the summertime in the middle of June. He'll be here for a week or two, and then we're all off to Taiwan. Could not be more proud of that guy. I try my best to help him out with the things that I remember, but he is getting into some areas of which I don't have any experience. I was a printed circuit board engineer, but I was a production engineer. So I dealt mostly with the customer's print. The design was already finished, and my job was to direct manufacturing and how to build that circuit board, right? So that was my engineering, and I didn't need an electrical engineering degree to do that. So it's a tough class for sure. High regards for him. Yeah, the whole course. Some of the classes in the course are still though quite easy. Yeah, some of them are. You still need to take your general ed courses and stuff, and he has a lot of college credit for many of the general ed courses, but he still has to take general ed courses. So I've got him convinced. Don't back off of the general ed courses. If it's an easy course and you can get an A, just get an A, right? Because then if you get a hard course, and you score low in that course, that A in that general ed course will help average out your GPA and keep your GPA up. So yeah, a lot of my colleagues in the university, well, I wouldn't say a lot of them, but quite a few of them would just dismiss the general ed courses. Like, I was in the math program, so they would focus entirely on their math courses. And then if there was a general ed course, they'd say, "Oh, who cares? I'm not going to do the work in there. I'll just get a D in that course, just enough so I can pass. I want to focus on the math." But the thing is, if you then run into a really hard course and you score low on it, if you would just put in a little extra work on those general ed courses, which are generally easy courses, then the A in that course will offset the low course you had in that hard math course, and it'll balance them out. So it's not just working hard and stuff. You have to have strategy. You got to think, and you got to keep your eye on that overall GPA. And Biggie's doing it. He's doing it, man. It's cool. I mean, you can pass the electrical engineering course with a D, like a 2.5 GPA. You can pass, but then when you go to try to get a job, everybody else has over 3.0, and there you are with your 2.5. Competition's tough in that field. So I tell Biggie, you got to keep your cumulative GPA above a 3.0. 3.0 or above, you can't let it dip. It's dipped a couple of times, but he brought it right back. So all right, I wanted to see this return going back into the target block. That's why I was over here before I got talking about university. Right, so it hits this, does this first, hits this, does that secondarily, then comes around here, hits this, does this tertiarily, or let's just say subsequently. and then comes over here and hits this and activates that in reverse. Yep. And then, I just used this as a clock to keep it open, just that row of repeaters. The row of repeaters is very short here, but instead of lengthening it on this axis, we could lengthen it on this axis out this way. We could do that too. So, for example, yeah, I was hoping to avoid activating that. Now I have to reset it, but it's not a big deal. In fact, come to think of it, we don't even need the redstone dust if we're going to go out this way, because the observer will still see that in that direction, right? It'll just read the repeater, right? So, and this is going to activate on and off while we're doing this, but I have to start looking for college this summer. I need to start getting my applications out. Oh, you're at that stage. Anything involving engineering just sounds like a pain for me. What are we building here? Okay. And, Pleasant, forgive me if you've already told me this, but what were you thinking of pursuing for your major? And then as far as what we're building is we're building our third drop feature. So the player will come over to a dead end, take the risk of pressing the button, fall down through the floor. Now, maybe some baby zombies will fall down through here with the player. But of course, they won't have any potion. It'll be dark like this. Then they have to run through the darkness with perhaps baby zombies chasing them. So you can see I had to put some other different colored blocks other than the black concrete because it's just too hard. And like I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, I also demoed this at the beginning of the stream. There may be some features down here. There may be some cool murals on the wall. There may be some food and, things like that. Then the player gets out to here. And they will run over these pressure plates, which will open that up. Of course, the player won't see that. They'll hear it. Proceed forward. This is very hard to see. They'll drop down into this, hit these pressure plates. The wind bursts will launch them up through and bring them back into the maze. So that's the idea. So this feature is quite involved. This turned out to be a lot harder than I thought it would be. I am looking at a degree in business and maybe going into law school. I was also thinking about minoring in pre-law or political science as well. That is so cool. Wow, this is incredibly well made. Thanks. This turned out to be so much harder than I thought it would be. Yeah. But let's bring this through, all right? So this will activate this. This all works, but then we need this to come out to here, wrap around this way, and come back here. It'll read this circuit again. And again, I don't need the redstone dust there. It'll just read the repeater when the repeater goes off. Let's put this in reset mode. Right there. Okay. And we could just use a like an Etho Harper clock here, but I'm thinking maybe the repeater bus, is that a bus or let's just call it a chain. The repeater chain will be enough of a delay to keep that open long enough for the player to make maybe 1, 2, or maybe 3 attempts at this before it closes. Yeah, we'll do something like that. Let's see how long this is. The delay 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we've got 7 and 8 here. So it probably doesn't have to go out that far. So I'm thinking 1, 2, 3, 4. And maybe something like this. That might be a little too much. Let's try that. And like this. This is what I'm thinking. So it'll reach this point, activate this, proceed over to here, come down here, reach this point, activate that again, and then this, and it should reverse it. It should make a reverse circuit. Now we could put redstone dust here. We could also just put a target block there. Like this, and like this. And we're going to get some action here and here when we do this. Right. Okay, and I'm just going to extend these all the way. 4 ticks for each one. How am I doing? Well, I've got 11 minutes left of the stream. Like this. What did I have after it reached the return point here? 4 ticks on each one, yeah. All right, so from here to here is 4 ticks. Oh, wait, no. From here to here is no ticks. All right, I forget that that's the front of the system. So it'll come around here, barrels down to here, over to here. I think I had redstone dust here. Yeah, so the observer could read it. Yeah, all right. That's why I didn't have target block here. All right, that's good. That's good. Well, Thunder, I have to get ready for my bowling league. Oh, still doing the bowling. Cool. Which starts tonight. It was great talking with you. I hope I can get another chance to join soon. Tell Kachi to finish the year strong. Oh, he will. But I'll still pass it along. And as always, Thunder, have a pleasant rest of your day. Pleasant player. Thanks so much for dropping in. I know it's difficult for you to get the time to drop in, too, so I appreciate it all the more. Take care of yourself. Heal up. I hope you're able to replace your monitor. And keep me posted. You know, even if you can't stop in the stream, you can still just message every now and then or something. Just to let me know what you're up to. Okay, so we're just going to try one side here and see how long this thing will stay open. Will do. You take care, man. It's good to see you. We're almost finished with the stream anyway. We only have a few minutes left. Let's go activate this. Okay, well, that was kind of unexpected. Now, what was happening before? Before we had a little blob of redstone dust in here. With the repeater, we should get the same kind of effect, but it doesn't look like we are. So again, let's see what's happening. And for the moment, you know, we can just deactivate this part. Yeah, let's just take that out of there for now, and then this won't activate. That way we can just focus on one side. All right, I'm going to break that and break that for the moment. Making sure all my repeaters are in the right direction. It looks like they are. But you know what I think I said? That there is no delay there and there. Yeah, I think that's what that deal is. Let me see what's going on. The lead side has the delay, the return side doesn't. But it depends on this signal length going through here. So this is 1, 2, 3, but then you have the instantaneous with the rail. So we might have to fool around with those settings a little bit. Because here we don't have that. Here we just have this activates, and then we have this. We might have to fool around with these timings a little bit. Okay, so the beginning part looks good. All right, so we don't have any problem up through to there. All right, let's see what happens now. Okay, block states are good. Okay, that was a little weird. And you know what? I didn't get up here fast enough to glean what was happening, but it kind of looked like it did what it was supposed to do. See if I can fly back up here fast enough so I can see what's going on. Good. Comes around. Okay, it's weird. It's like it's not making it... Oh! That's why. Thunder. That's why. Yeah. That'll do it. We have 4 minutes left of the stream anyway. And today, I have to cut out immediately after the stream because I need to get Kachi right away. In fact, I probably should have streamed about maybe a half an hour earlier. All right, let's see what's going on here. I think I'm reset here. Coming around, activates again. Looks like it did it. It looks like that timing's pretty good. It's a little quick, but I think it's all right. Maybe jump up and down through there. Oh, okay, yeah. I'm thinking it probably should be a little bit longer. Because when you get shot up through there, I want at least maybe 3 attempts. So who knows? Maybe this won't be long enough. And maybe we'll need like the Etho Hopper clock. Because, you know, I could just take this thing and extend it all the way out to here, but then I have to do the same thing on the other side. Apparently, it doesn't appear like I have too many features around doing that. But if that's the case, you know, then who knows? You know, there are other features up above us. We need to think of if anything's going to be located around these areas. So we do have to kind of keep the footprint of the redstone to a minimum if we can. Yeah, so we do have this working. So what I'll do is I'll leave this intact on this side. And then I can come over here on this side. And here's another situation where I'm going to have to be careful. Because I have the tunnel passing directly under this. And so I'm hoping I can fit the Etho Hopper clock right around here. The other thing I might do is have this pass underneath and activate the Hopper clock right here, and then have it come back through this way. Yeah, I might do that. I might do that. So we might be going back to redstone dust here or something. So it'll signal down through here, activate the Etho Hopper clock. It'll count down and then set that back up through. But you know what? The deal with that is I want the same Hopper clock. I want the same Hopper clock to activate both of these at the same time. That way I don't have to worry about synchronizing them. So we're going to have 2 inputs again. We're going to have one right here and right here. So we're going to need something coming down from here. And then, again, something coming down from there. One of the things we might be able to do... Oh, you know what we could do? And we're at the end of the stream anyway, but something for which we can think of, about which we can think. We could maybe extend this rail. It's already pretty long, but we can probably extend this rail around. To get the Etho Hopper clock here in the middle. So I'm thinking here in the middle, and then it sends the pulse back here and then across to there. Something like that. But I guess that's for another stream. Okay. I also just realized that this year will be the 5th year I've been following your channel. That is insane. Take care of Thunder. Take care, Thunder. Yeah, it's 2025. We began streaming um, actually in June of 2020, but we really got our streaming stuff together in October of 2020. So I consider October 2020 to be, you know, the real beginning of these streams, especially the Generation stream and Kachi Time. That was 2020. And then Buffooncraft followed in 2021, I think. Yeah. Buffooncraft was in that summer of 2021. Yeah. Six. Yeah, that's right. Ah, the memories. So, okay. I am not going to raid out today. Did I raid out last time? Yeah, I did to Kumakwa, I think, right? Yeah, okay. So I'm not going to raid out today. I've got to get right out here to go fetch Kachi. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining me today. It's really cool while I'm trying to struggle with Redstone to have the company. I always appreciate you guys dropping in. Let us get back to the camp scene over here, especially seeing some of the OG viewers in here. That was a lot of fun. Toes for Life right at the beginning of the stream, and then Pleasant Player dropping in at the end. Of course, the Sage and Lone Star. You guys are all cool. I always appreciate you guys dropping in to hang with me while I struggle with Redstone and baby zombies and things like that. Just remember that we do this stream every Wednesday from noon to 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Our next stream will be Friday from 11 a.m. to 1 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That will be Buffooncraft Season 6. And we have commenced with our main build, Lone Star. Laters, man, laters. And so we've laid down our first layers of our Minecraft gigantic 3D printing process of building. We've had the first couple of layers down there and everything. It's super cool. The stream after that will be Sunday from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That will be Kachi time. I don't know what Kachi wants to stream, but we'll see. Last week it was Limbus Company. We'll see what he has in mind for this stream. And of course, the stream after that will be Wednesday. Again, we'll be on Generations, the Season 5 Survival World. Season 5. Generation 5 Survival World. We have built a lot of the drowned farm in there. In fact, the overworld part of the drowned farm is pretty much complete. So much tinted glass, and so maybe that stream will be doing the kill chamber with the item collection, sorting, and crafting system portion of that in the Nether. So yeah, in the Nether, it's going to be cool. I have some cool stuff to show you guys. Stop with the procrastinating. Procrastination police. Okay. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon, morning, evening, wherever you happen to be. Join us again next time. Bye for now, everyone.